than a week before the debut of Fantastic Four at...
So this is Ryan Kinnell. He's made a video called Kevin Feige Says Marvel is all in on woke and will never change. I like his takes. I think he's got some pretty base takes. So let's hear what he has to say.
The box office, the last chance of the year for Marvel to actually have a success, following multiple flops in theaters, following multiple failures on Disney Plus. I suppose we have Wonder Man at the end of the year. Not sure if anybody's going to watch that.
That's literally the first I've ever heard of that. Wonder Man? I don't have any idea what that is.
But Fantastic Four is the last chance in a big setup for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Kevin Feige talked to a lot of different members of the press and might go over that entire interview at some point in time. But one portion, one interview that he gave, I wanted to specifically talk about because Kevin Feige decided to address some of the controversies in the MCU. Kevin Feige on people complaining that the MCU is now woke. Well, let's get into it, shall we? And do you think...
It's been woke for quite a while, too, by the way.
...that they're going to take any of those concerns to heart? Do you think that some of the criticism over some of the characters that have been focused on, do you think they're going to take that into concern at all, or at least admit that publicly? My guess would be absolutely not. And if you guessed that, you're probably right, too. Kevin Feige stands by Marvel's diversity. Marvel is the world outside your window. I said this before, woke and DEI became a thing, and I'm still saying it after. The Marvel Studios president and producer said. Let's get into this, and then we'll do a little bit of a trip into the past.
I used to really enjoy Kevin Feige. Or I liked him because I thought he was the mastermind behind the success of the MCU. I don't really think that anymore, and if he was, he's lost the plot.
Look at some of Kevin Feige's comments. While right-wing backlash against Hollywood's efforts of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, has led studios to back off corporate efforts to advance the practice, Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige says he stands by his studio's efforts over the past several years to increase representation on set and on the big screen with characters...
Representation? So less white people, for sure.
...like Black Panther and Ms. Marvel, and suggested the MCU won't be pivoting away from that.
Diversity, inclusion, equity, all that stuff just means less white men. That's all it means. Less white men as much as possible.
I said this before woke and DEI became a thing, and I'm still saying it after. Marvel is the world outside your window, Feige told reporters on Friday. It's not Gotham or Metropolis. This is New York and LA. And yes, there's also Wakanda and Asgard, but it's all made up of the people who make up our world. So
that shouldn't be the case at all. Wakanda and Asgard shouldn't be a representation because they're fantasy places. Asgard should be full of Norse, Nordic, white Vikings, and Wakanda should be full of black African spear-wielding, rhino-riding black people. They got one of those right. Do you remember that Thor movie? There's like Asians there, black people there. Mexicans were in Asgard. It's like, god damn. What are we doing?
This is in response to, what do you think about the criticism of the MCU going too woke or focusing too much on DEI and all of these things? The main concern I think that most people have is not that they're, oh, look, this is a world that looks like it might be accurately representative of our world today. The problem is the characters that you guys decide to focus on for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because, okay, it's a reflection of New York and LA and all these things, but it is also a reflection, or should be, of the comic book universe that all these things are derived from. And what I mean by that are the characters that are popular, the characters that people care about, and the stories that you tell, and you decide which ones to tell or not. In the case of Black Panther is a character who's been around for a very long time and is a very important character, and there's a lot of people invested in Black Panther. Now, I also think that they did a great job of marketing that movie and got exactly the demographic turnout they were hoping for. Yeah. They used everything in their power to use this massive marketing machine, and it worked.
I went and saw it 3 times. Opening weekend, and then after that, 3 times. I enjoyed that movie, apart from the CGI gobbledygook fight scene at the end. On past reflection, some major stupidity, but I enjoyed it when it came out.
worked very well and got people out there and excited for Black Panther. But when you look at a lot of these characters, especially in the past 5 years, that they've decided to focus on, that no one gives two fucks about, whether it's Miss Marvel, whether it's Captain Marvel, whether it's Ironheart, over and over again.
Oh, I'm still watching Ironheart. I'm trying to get past it. By the way, these aren't representations of even the world outside your window. When they have aliens attack New York City and you have a row of homeless guys pissing on the sidewalk and like masturbating on the street, then I'll be like, and they put that in the film, then I'll be like, all right, that represents New York City. When you have black dudes like carjacking people and stuff, I'm like, okay, they got it.
You see these very questionable decisions that Marvel and Kevin Feige have made.
Did you guys know that for most of the people watching YouTube videos, only a small percentage of those people are actually subscribed to those channels? But subscribing is really quick and easy. All you have to do is first to make a YouTube account, which is free, and then after that, go down to the video that you're watching, hit the like button, which goes a long way in helping out the algorithm, and then go over and hit the subscribe button. After you've hit the subscribe button, click the drop down arrow and click the option that says all, so that can notify you whenever a new video from this creator has dropped. Subscribing is free, and making a YouTube account is also free. It allows you to keep up with all of your favorite content creators, and of course it goes a long way in helping out my channel, and I really do appreciate it. So with all of that being said, back to the video.
About the characters that they want to focus on going forward. Hey, Sam Wilson Captain America movie. Well, you know, Sam Wilson got the shield in the comics. Do you know how that went? It went extremely poorly. People were not fans of that. People didn't like Sam Wilson as Captain America. And spoiler alert, they didn't like him in the movie. Fans didn't like Ironheart in the comic book.
It's because he's black. It's racism.
They didn't like her in her Disney Plus series. But this is what you told us you were going to do. Do not pretend like, well, this is something we've been doing all along. This is what Kevin Feige said. When the MCU was hitting its stride and everything was making a fuck ton of money, you decided that you wanted to virtue signal. This is Kevin Feige, right? Marvel Boss wants more female than male heroes in the MCU. Exclusive. MCU will soon have more female heroes than male heroes.
Oh.
This is from 2018, right? This is from 2018,
okay,
so a little bit after what, Infinity War probably?
Yeah.
The Infinity War came out in 2018 and then Endgame in 2019, if I'm remembering correctly. This is what Kevin Feige said. It's been 10 years since the MCU launched with Jon Favreau's Iron Man. It looks like it will start to head in a new direction following next year's Captain Marvel, right? As the plan goes forward, I think frankly will be, you know, everyone, I think we're going to reach a time where it's not just, listen, it will be amazing to see all of our female characters the way we've seen. Most, never all male, but primarily male. I think we're getting to a point where we'll have so many great female characters, and those are just our heroes as opposed to when they're all female, all male. It's just Marvel heroes, more than half of which will be women.
What a cuck. What an absolute cuck. I remember the warning signs back in the day when he said, yeah, Captain Marvel will be the most powerful hero. And that was before the movie came out. In the Golden Age, and I remember thinking to myself, like, even more than Thor and the Hulk? Really? Okay.
So when you start to question the decisions of the characters that people use to focus on, this is what we're talking about. You made this pledge for no fucking reason other than to virtue signal, other than to force this shit. People don't care about the character of Miss Marvel. They don't. They didn't in the comic books. You decided to fast track it to have an all-female team-up movie with Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and it fucking failed. It flopped. It got rejected because people don't care about these characters.
If the writing was better, they would. It's not even that, it's like, it's not even that there's more women and stuff. It's just, could you give us interesting characters and interesting stories? I don't even care that much about the continuity of the comics. I think there should be some reverence for them, and I think the first decade of the MCU did that. They paid homage, but they changed a lot of stuff. But I was okay with that stuff. I was okay with certain race swaps. Nick Fury is not black in the comics, but damn, Samuel L. Jackson played a great Nick Fury. So if you cast characters that really do fit the role well, it's fine. And then just give us very good storytelling and interesting stories. If you do that, and you pay homage to the comics by drawing things out of it, but then you can change all kinds of stuff. And if it's still good and it still feels like it's respecting the source material, you can take all kinds of liberties. Even have more women than men, but it still has to be good. And so far, everything has been sucked. It's just girl boss, girl boss, girl boss, insufferableness, snarky, snarky, snarky. It's like, god damn. You know, leading the men around like they're idiots and just digging up everything that used to be good and just taking a massive dump all over it. It sucks, man.
So when we're talking about this shit, this is what we're talking about. Or when you do use a character that had a decent little fan base in She-Hulk in the comics over the decades, a decent little fan base for She-Hulk, what did you do with that show? You made a show specifically designed to attack fans, to belittle fans, to go after fans. These are the things that you're doing. Part of it is because you have allowed all of these activists to take charge, and part of it is your own fucking doing. This is the pledge you made. We're going to give you more characters that you don't care about so that we can be so virtuous, so that we can be so woke, so that we can provide the equity that these women have been longing for. That's the promises you fucking made. Now, if you truly are saying nothing's ever going to change, you're in for a fucking world of hurt. Because when you focus on these things, when you hire these people, not people that are great writers, not people who are skilled, but instead people who are willing to put activism in a story because of who it's about, because that's what you've pledged to do, the story suffers.
Mm-hmm.
The story suffers. And that's what people are there for. A story they like, a story they can get invested in, from a character that they can get invested in. And
which has absolutely almost nothing to do with race, sex, gender, or any of these superficial traits that people en masse don't and shouldn't connect with each other on because they're surface level and superficial. They're like we connect with Frodo Baggins, not because we're all a bunch of hobbits with massive feet and hairy feet, but because he has human elements. You know, there's things about his character and suffering and long suffering and trial and tribulation. It's not because we're hobbits.
Virtually all you've delivered over the past several years have been characters that no one cares about, that people hate, in stories that are poor. So you get what you fucking deserve. Now, I also think that there's no way in hell that if Kevin Feige goes, yeah, we're not going to focus on that shit anymore, I don't think he'd admit that publicly. I think he would think that that would be a bad thing for them to do publicly, when in reality, it would be a fantastic thing for them to do publicly. Not to say, well, we're not going to have any diversity in the MCU, but instead to say, look, we pushed for a lot of these things over the years, and we really got ahead of ourselves. What we really need to focus on, regardless of the race or sexuality or gender of these characters, what we really need to focus on is making great stories. At the core of it, I think that's what everybody wants, and that's what we're getting back to. That would have been a perfect answer. But instead, you get this. So I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same for Kevin Feige and Marvel.
I will leave a link in the description to his video. Go check out his channel, sub, check it out. The video, like the video of his. And also, if you would do that for me too, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. It really goes a long way in helping out the channel. I do appreciate it, guys. And of course, as always, thanks for watching, and have a great freaking day.